And I started getting on YouTube. I created a YouTube channel called Investor Army. And I just started telling people, here's the problem I'm dealing with, here's how I solved it, and hopefully it helps. That's literally all I did. Here's a problem, here's how I solved it, and I built one of the top 10 YouTube channels in North America for residential real estate investing without any editing, without like any good lighting. So what I want you guys to understand, if you're not on YouTube, you need to be doing this. You need to be in video marketing. I recruited the #1 recruiter in the world at eXp Realty. He did it all through YouTube. He's recruited almost 500 people directly from YouTube. The #3 agent in our company right now, we brought in, we trained him in YouTube. His first year, he did $67 million in sales. His name's Suman Kim. Some of you guys know Suman. Did almost 100 million next year. So I'm not telling you guys, you have to go do it, but it is the fastest, scalable, lowest risk way to grow a business, which is digital internet marketing, video marketing. Why does video marketing work? We just talked about communication. What if I'm over the phone? What are you losing? Body language. What if I'm communicating through text and emails? If you guys are trying to do emails and text messages and all this type of stuff, you are slowing your business down immensely. There's 4 ways we communicate. Text form, audio form, video like Zoom, or in person right now. Now think about a text message. You're having to edit it. You read it again to make sure you don't look stupid and how to misspell word. And you're planning out what you're saying. What if you just send a voice text? Which one's faster? For sure. Now think about that on millions of different things and messages you do throughout your career. So also when you're doing text form communication, you're giving a big risk to people you're communicating with to put their own emotion behind the message. What if I send a message to Forrest, who's a good friend of mine, and said, F you, F you. One could be F you just joking around, one's like, hey, let's throw down. And so then when you're on audio, you hear the tonality in the voice, but then when you're on Zoom or on video conferencing, you can see the body language. You can see if people are sitting up in their chair or not. And then the last one is in person, because when you're in person, you have all these other abilities to feel things and sense things I'm pretty sure that we don't have records for already, or that we've discovered already. That's saying that there's possibly 7 to maybe even 9 senses that we have, and they're doing a lot of studies on this. Don't want to go off on a tangent, but if you think about like a baseball game, you can read about it in the newspaper, you can listen to it over the radio, you can watch it on TV, or you can go to the game in person. Which one has the highest sensory overload? So we have an internal mind and an external world. And the way that we interpret both is we have our taste, touch, sound, and all our faculties, right? So that when you're in business and conversions and you're trying to motivate people and lead people and get energy out of people, you need to be able to trigger this. And you do this by communicating in the highest form of communication through sensory overload. So if I had a black and white TV up here versus a high def TV, which one would you want to watch the game on? Okay, so think about how can you increase the sensory overload, and you're going to increase the relationships and the conversion when you're doing sales. Okay, so I started traveling the circuit, speaking at events after this because Jim let me speak, and I went to some other events where they connected me to other speakers. So if you guys want to get on the speaking circuit, get on one small one, do okay. They'll hopefully connect you to the next one, and before you know it, you're out there speaking on the circuit. So the way I got into that a little bit also was I started working for local REI investors. I started running their REI clubs. And this is where I think a lot of people struggle with finding a mentor, because mentors are hard to find. Mentors that are successful, they have money. They don't need more money. What do we do to get into a mentor's life or proximity with a high valued person? We figure out how to save them time or stress, right? So I went to all the local REI clubs, and I went to Tim Cook in Dallas, or West DFW REI. I was like, I'm gonna work your front desk for you. I'm gonna check people and sign up. And so it was a burden for him. So I'm saving him time, saving him stress. He started introducing me to lots of different people. He is the one that taught me creative financing, subject to transactions, and things like this. So if you guys are trying to find a mentor, find the person that you wanna have a relationship with and have a reason why you wanna have a relationship with them and solve problems in their life, which is freeing up time or stress for them. Do not go to them and say, I'm gonna help you make more money. They have plenty of money. So if someone comes to me now and is like, I want to help you make money, or I want to do a deal with you, that's not going to get them into a conversation. If they say, I'm going to take a lot of stress off your plate, I'm going to say how, and if they can prove it to me, then that's what's going to get you in that front door. Then as I started my YouTube channel, I was traveling around the country. I had a lot of people ask this question, have you ever heard of eXp Realty? Don't worry guys, I'm not pitching, I'm just telling you the story. And, but for 2 years I blew it off. And to be honest, it was because I heard a lot of other people saying negative things about it. And it wasn't until I had a real conversation with the #1 guy in our company. I was speaking at an event in Mississippi. Some of you guys know Walter Wolford and Quincy Long, and they had an event down there in Mississippi. I think you were at that event for us, possibly. And I got put into a speaker's house for 3 or 4 days with Rob, who's the #1 team leader in the world at eXp. He's got 19,500 agents. Just like that movie, Swear on My Life, it's like Wolf of Wall Street, where he's like, at the diner, he's like, you prove to me you make $72K a month, I'll quit my job and work for you. I was like, Rob, if you prove to me you're making over $100,000 a month in a residual income stream with no debt, no tenants, no back-end management system, I'm gonna go get my real estate license, I'm gonna travel this country, I'm gonna build this with you. He showed it to me. That was a little over 5 years ago. I went and got my real estate license, and here's what happened. So I got my license. My first year, I recruited 40 agents. They turned into over 150. Second year, they over doubled to 300. Third year, they doubled to 600. My third year is when I recruited Mike, and we got a big jump because of that. Year 4, hit 1,600 agents, and currently right now we're at 2,835 agents globally. We're adding 150 agents every single month, and it has created a very large cash flow for us. I founded an organization, which y'all may see, called the Wolfpack Organization, and in May 2023, we became the #1 net growth organization at eXp Realty for the first time that month. Currently, right now, we're ranked number 3 for the net growth for eXp this year currently. Every single day from 100 grand debt to go down to the bottom to get back. It didn't take a single day off. And this is not a flex because at the time I was terrified I was going into bankruptcy. I guess it's now a cool thing to grind. But here's why the mindset side is so tough, because the day that I found out that I got out of debt, I also found out, not the day, it was like a week later, my partner stole 35 grand from me, and I went right back into debt. So over 4 years, I didn't take a single day off. I'm not joking, not a day off. And it was brutal every single day. I wanted to quit every single day. But the only thing I knew is if I didn't quit, that somewhere skill sets would catch up over time, I'd meet the right people, and that of all these other people I saw successful around me, they had to do it too, unless they cheated, and I knew not all of them cheated, so they figured it out. So you just have to figure it out. Don't quit, just keep going. And during this journey, you're gonna doubt every decision you make. It's gonna feel like it's never gonna happen, I promise you, but you just have to stay on course. But that's kind of my story. Sorry we got a little crazy with the microphone and all the stuff in the beginning, but that's kind of how I got here and how I met Rich and how doors opened to other doors. And one thing I also want you guys to understand is everybody's trying to find a niche or a path or a certain thing. You just need to find relationships and get into the right proximity to the right people and stay in the game for long enough. Because I went from poker playing to, actually I didn't tell part of my story because for time management, I went to a company, I got my insurance license first and went to World Financial Group, which is where Ed Milet's from, and I saw all these successful team leaders. Now, I didn't want to do the insurance business, but it sank in my mind that years later, 4 or 5 years later, when eXp popped up and I was in the real estate business, I saw the parallels between the two, and I hit the ground running. So what I want you guys to think about is on this journey, the things that you see as losses or failures or waste of time, these are the opportunities that give you the vision and the awareness to spot the opportunity that's gonna be the one that's gonna get you to the next level later in life. And so I went from wholesaling to flipping and all these different things to end up at the path that I am right now. So you just stay in the game, you keep going, guys, and look for opportunities along the way, and they will open up. But until you've struggled and failed enough and had enough adversity and been screwed over enough times, you can't even realize what you're missing or even if opportunities are in front of your face, right? So be patient with yourselves, don't beat yourself up. I think that's why a lot of people struggle in business is they have bad self-image and low self-esteem. And I'm gonna wrap it up, yeah. And the last thing I wanna go back to what creates the energy and the action. So we talked about the vehicle, right? The belief in what we're doing. But what if you believe that what you're doing more than anything is gonna work, but you don't believe in yourself? When this gets tough, which it will, you'll sit down. So the underlying thing that you guys need to focus on is building your self-image, building your self-esteem, because once you believe in yourself, you'll take a risk. But if you don't believe in yourself, you won't take risk. And can you build a business without taking risk? So once you believe in yourself, you believe in the vehicle, those two things hand in hand create the energy, which creates the action, which creates the results, the house, the car, the things that you want. So everything starts from inside first. So if you guys have not heavily gone down personal education, self-development, I was the type of kid that hated school. We were like high school, we had 8 classes a day, 45 minutes of class, and I had to take a bathroom break every class, every day, pretty much through high school. I would not read a book. They could not force me to do this. I hated it, because I didn't think it was valuable for what I was doing or where I wanted to go. But when I got into personal education later, started reading hundreds of books, when I realized that this actually was getting me towards my goals and dreams, I became an avid learner and became a big believer in self-education. So what I'd argue is if you did not like education, try to pick up one of these books, or I'll give you guys a list of them, or give Rich one, but that's really what changed my life, was the aggressive pursuit of personal education, which is what you guys are all doing right now anyways, coming to an event like this. But I'm done, guys. They cut me off. I'm gonna go. But